What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Don't Tell Me How to Fan. My name is Josh Albrecht, and with me is my friend John Taylor. Hey, buddy, how we doing?
Doing great, Josh. A lot better after a Packers win.
Yeah, so after the Brewers got eliminated, I was like, all right, Packers need to hear, right? Need something to get over that loss from the Brewers. I'm not going to lie, the Packers win did not do it for me. It was not. Maybe if it was like a super dominating win, it might have helped, but it was a tall ask
Yeah.
from the Packers to make the pain of the Brewers season ending go away. It did not accomplish that. It was a win, and a
Yeah.
win was good. Packers beat the Rams 24-19. I predicted they would beat the Rams 21-10. You said 34-15. I don't know, call that however you want. We both did wins. Neither of us got the score right.
Nope.
But I watching this game, right? Like there's flashes of great things. And I'm like, let's go. And then it's like, how are we letting this team back in? Why is this a game?
Yeah.
And this isn't the first time, John, that this has happened recently in like the last season and so in the Jordan Love era, where I've been like, what are we doing? Wait, stop. We were doing great. Don't let them back.
Yeah.
Why is this got to be heart attack inducing football? It does not. It shouldn't have been. It was.
Well,
me.
to be fair,
To be fair,
we were down by 4 at halftime. So
yeah, it didn't
it
feel
wasn't
like we were down by 4 at halftime.
it did not. It did not. But it was surely not a runaway game. Obviously, they got to 14 off of a terrible Jordan Love throw in the end zone, trying to avoid a safety. I mean, he's just got to make sure he gets that ball out of bounds. Period. You know, there's just
I saw like Kurt Bankert or someone tried to like defend that. He's like, this is actually brilliant. I was like, no, it was a pick six. Those are never good.
No,
I don't care.
I mean, it's brilliant if he gets it out of bounds. We go, wow, but you got to get it out of bounds. You know,
Right.
You got to be a little better about that. Yeah, you know, this is Jordan Love, right? You talk about.
Don't tell me that. What does that mean?
Well,
that better not be Jordan Love.
This is Jordan Love, as in he's going to put the ball in more precarious situations than Aaron Rodgers did. This is why people say he's more like Brett Favre than he is like Aaron Rodgers in that way. He is willing to push the ball downfield. He's willing to play fast and loose. And I think there's examples in this same game where those same gambles paid off. That 63-yard bomb to Jaden Reed, he had no business throwing that ball. However, he believes in Jaden Reed. So throw that ball.
Yeah.
Trust your arm, you know? So, I mean, that's what I mean. It's not going to be another 17 years of any bad throw is not a throw I'm going to make. It's just not the type of player.
How do we feel about that? How do we feel about him leaning more Brett Favre than Aaron Rodgers in his style of play? More gunslinging.
More gunslinging. I feel good about it only because I grew up watching Brett Favre. So, you know, I'm already used to, I've got, you know, 15 plus years of watching it just exactly like that. So
I want Jordan Love to try to be the best of both. Like, I think that both, obviously, Favre and Rodgers had their moments. I think that when people look at just in general the two quarterbacks, though, people are going to say Rodgers was the better quarterback.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
So,
I mean,
if I had to pick one, I'd rather have Love play more like Rodgers.
Yeah.
Than more like Favre. There have been a lot of things so far I've seen from Love where I'm going, oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
But why did you do that? I didn't say that a lot with Rodgers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's the most efficient quarterback to ever play the football game. So you literally couldn't say that because no one's ever.
And Jordan Love followed him, studied him.
Sure. I just mean, he had that tape going out of college. He's a guy who's willing to drive the ball in favor of trying to make a big play, which I like the mentality of it. I mean, there are situations where you say Aaron Rodgers after 2011 never got us back to a Super Bowl. Do we think maybe if he was a little more gunslingerish? I mean, we lost those games anyways. So, you know, listen, in an aggregate of a career, I want Aaron Rodgers' efficiency. Every single quarterback does. But I just mean there are situations where maybe that'll be different. So, but let's, I mean, I can quantify this a little bit. You know, last year, Jordan Love had like a 2.4% of turnover worthy plays. So that's just saying, like, should he have thrown it? Should he have not? These are the ones. In 3 games this year, that number is up to like 4.8. It's like doubled. So you're not wrong for feeling this. I just think there's probably some things that are getting in the way of that. I think the receivers, I think there's a little more rust going on with the Dontavian Wicks of the world. I think that there's still some meat left on the bone in terms of our skill group making plays. But I will say, I think that it is obvious that Jordan Love, while able to be back, is still suffering from that strain. Not enough to keep him from scrambling. I mean, he had a beautiful scramble, like 10 plus yards on a third down. But I more mean just like the way they're play calling the game, which throws off everything. They have yet to really run any play action from under center, which is something they did a ton of last year. I think they've got his eyes up in shotgun or doing just straight drop backs to try to limit the mobility and just concerns of re-injury. So, I'm not worried about it yet. I'm worried about it if, that number doesn't come down over the next couple games, because the original thing report about his strain was 3 to 6 weeks. Next week is that 6-week mark. So let's make sure that, these aren't
sure.
And I think those will come down as we get back into the normal rhythm of the offense. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely something to watch, I would say, but nothing to get too upset about just yet, because we're still winning games. So
yeah, okay, and I'll get to that in a second. But when we're talking about the offense, Josh Jacobs gets his first tutty.
Yeah,
in the green and gold.
Yeah,
when that happened, I was like, oh yeah, that's his first one. Isn't that kind of weird? Doesn't it feel like he should have already had one?
Yeah, I would have bet good money that monster performance against the Colts would have yielded a touchdown.
Something? Yeah, apparently
it didn't.
Not. So good for him, though.
Yeah, I will say on the Josh Jacobs front, you know what? He finished with a ho-hum, like, I think it was like 73 yards. Sorry, I don't have stats pulled up in front of me right now.
Doesn't matter.
Not as much as you think, but I will say some pretty nice sized chunk runs. And this is kind of what you knew about Josh Jacobs in the difference between him and Aaron Jones, was that
73. So you said?
I did say that. So
cool.
There you go. Committed to memory. But yeah, I think he's opportunistic when he's able. I think the other little interesting wrinkle, and this is less about the touchdown, but just about the performance yesterday, is the line has never been an elite pass or rushing blocking team, and it's just could not be more apparent. I mean, it's just not. The interior's rough. I mean, Myers was again fair to middling at best. So this is just the expectation, I suppose, and it's a credit to him more than a hindrance.
Either, but yeah,
I know it's a credit to him more than a hindrance that he's able to find opportunities to still produce for the offense. So
Jaden Reed is a stud. Talked about him in that with that one catch, and just in general. I mean, he was my favorite coming in to the season, but I love that he's proven it and that he's out there killing it. Is there any doubt in your mind that he is WR1?
No, I think it's him. Even with a healthy Christian Watson, I just think Jaden Reed has proven that.
I agree.
Because I used to say was Jaden Reed looks great because everybody is so concerned about Christian Watson. And I know he's not, he's hurt a lot. I mean, this last one has nothing to do with like the hamstring, but my point was he changes the geometry of the offense. Kind of like when we had MVS, like guys were able to eat underneath because 6'4" guys running sub 4.2s is a nightmare, and you have to account for it. So I was always like, he's able to produce because of what Christian Watson is doing, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't.
He's going vertical in the same way Watson is, going up in high pointing balls better than Christian Watson does. And he's a gadget guy. They can get him the ball kind of anywhere in space, anywhere on the field, and he's producing. I think he's straight up the wide receiver one, and it has nothing to do with Christian Watson anymore. It's not even a favorable thing. He is their most talented skill position player on the team. And it's not even close. And I don't think it's going to be close again. I think Jaden Reed is that dude. I think when there's a lot of conversations about who's going to be around after, you got to have questions and answers for who's going to stick around between Dobbs and Watson this year, and then Wicks and Reed are right behind. But I mean, Jaden Reed is going to be a Packers wide receiver for the future, 100%.
Speaking of Romeo Dobbs, Romeo, my Romeo.
Wherefore art thou?
Yeah.
He's on the couch at home.
Yes, he is suspended lot of different reports coming out of what happened or what's going on. I don't know what you saw, but it seemed like he was upset because of the game plan and how he was going to be utilized. I don't know if we never heard his side of the story,
Yeah.
but that's what I heard. And then the Packers suspended him a game, and then reports came out, but everything's going to be fine. They suspended him a game, and now he's super happy. And I thought this was really weird because I remember when they did that for Jair, and then Jair kind of fell in line. And I was like, man, so these guys really like get in the coaches' faces and then just, all right, my bad, y'all.
Yeah.
We're good. Like, it's just wild to me that like it's almost a cookie cutter same story of what happened with Jair. I mean, he didn't go and say stuff to the media necessarily, but it was like an attitude problem, suspended for a game, and then immediately upon hearing the news of the suspension, the next report you hear is, but now reports are that the team and the player are doing great and there's no further issue.
Totally.
Kind of weird.
It is weird. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's weird. I didn't like the Romeo Dobbs one because it's like Jordan Love has constantly said Romeo Dobbs is his guy, right? He did that one draft the perfect play and he put Romeo Dobbs on it. And he was out for 2 weeks. So I don't know if he was
right. You're mad that Malik Willis wasn't throwing you the ball?
Like, yeah. Malik Willis wasn't throwing the ball in one of those games at all, let alone, know.
Jacobs running it.
So I don't know. I what's interesting to me is this pattern of, and I think why it can happen in locker rooms in any sport is there's so much stuff going on that I think things aren't tended to. Like, stick with me on this metaphor. If the locker room is a garden, sometimes certain plants don't get enough attention, right? And I think that I
did track that. Yeah.
I think dying on the vine a little bit is that attention to get watered. And I think that's what happened with Jair last year. I think that could be what happened with Romeo Dobbs is there's just this like, we're a team. This is what the team's doing. Everybody get used to it. And I think like in Jair's specific case, he was feeling frustrated, not heard. I think Romeo Dobbs is obviously not loving what's come his way. And I think you get together and you say, hey, especially in Jair's case, I don't know what's going to happen with Romeo Dobbs, but to answer your question about the Jair thing, I think it's really obvious. I think maybe MLF was like, hey, stick with me because I don't think Joe Barry's going to be around. You never know how candid these conversations actually are going to be, because there's a reason why his tune changed so quickly.
That's what I'm trying to think about, though, with Romeo Dobbs. It's like, I'm just picturing this in my head of how did the conversation after the suspension go down? Especially because when you're dealing with athletes, a lot of times you hear these stories that they overreact and they're prima donnas and they're blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, so what? It was, hey, we're suspending you for a game. And he goes, I understand. Thank you so much. I can't wait to get back on the field. Good luck on Sunday. What? Like, I don't see that playing out. And so now, as I mentioned, these were just reports. We haven't heard anything specific about Dobbs. But also, do you think that Dobbs would have made a huge impact on Sunday? Were there a ton of times in that game where you were like, damn, could have used Romeo Dobbs there?
I think so. I really do. Yeah, because Dontavian Wicks got targeted 7 times and only caught 2 passes. Might have been 9. He might have went 2 for 7. Not producing in the way that we all thought he would. His breaks are still incredible, but he is not. His hands just aren't there like they were last year. And I think that's where Romeo Dobbs comes in. So I don't want to time stamp this too much, but listeners will know if they go look at the Jeremy Fowler tweet that was just sent out. Packers wide receiver Romeo Dobbs plans to attend Wednesday's practice coming out of his meeting with the team today, Monday, per sources. The meeting went well, additionally added. So not a ton in terms of what could happen, but getting him back on the field is a huge thing. I mean, he was going to come back on the field no matter what because he doesn't want to miss out on more game
right.
checks,
He wants to get paid. Sure.
But
I understand.
But yeah, I mean, I do. I think there is. My only problem with that though is don't change the game plan. Either he's going to fit in this game plan or he's not, because there are more talented pass catchers doing more interesting things with the football. No shade to Romeo Dobbs, but listen, I'd rather get Tucker Kraft the ball the way he's been playing.
I mean,
he's playing like one of the top 3 tight ends in the league right now. So like, yeah.
How sick was that touchdown? What was it, like 80 yards?
Which one? No, the big one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was incredible. I mean, in the words of Chris Berman, he was just rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, down the sideline.
And as I thought immediately of LaFleur last year saying, and he stayed on his feet.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, yes.
Yeah. Well, that was
So,
Musgraves, technically.
true.
But the tight end position has been lacking for several years. So,
and but evading those guys. And then I also saw that he got up to like almost 20 miles per, like he hit like the fastest time for a tight end this year. I'm just like, stud,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah. It's
Utilize
incredible.
him more.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty clear given the snap count. They think Tucker Kraft is the number one tight end. And I think after the first or second game, either the Eagles or the Colts, they were like, yeah, we're going to have to look at, I think Luke Musgraves only got on the field like 8 times. And they're like, yeah, we got to look at it. We want that to be more evenly distributed. And I'm like, why? I mean, either you're going to run 21 and have 2 tight ends in the set or don't bother. Like, why would I ever want to see Musgraves on the field without Tucker Kraft right now? Because here's the thing. Tucker Kraft is an elite blocker. He does the tight end stuff and is giving you elite wide receiver stuff on top of it, you know?
Where it's like both. Cake and eat it too.
George Kittle level, where it's like, oh, this guy is just like an all-around incredible tight end. So, he went for 78 yards yesterday, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's even the wide receiver or the tight end screen, beautiful. Stumbled his way in there. It's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Musgrave's still battling an ankle injury. I believe he was active in the game, but he didn't get in.
Yeah.
So,
I just don't know how you keep watching Tucker Kraft perform like this and you think, we got to get this guy back in the game instead of him, you know? So,
well, unless they're drawing up things with 2 tight ends.
Yep.
You know,
yeah,
that would be the only way. Yeah, I don't think you replace Kraft for Musgrave at any point. I don't think you do that.
Yeah.
Another person you don't take out of the game, switching gears and moving to defense, Xavier McKinney. I mean, when was the last time the Packers had a signing that you're as satisfied as everyone is with Xavier McKinney?
Man, I haven't put too much thought on this, but I'm not kidding when I tell you I don't know. like a just a straight up free agent signing.
Maybe Woodson, maybe more than Woodson.
I was thinking like league wide, and Charles Woodson still might be the answer.
Yeah,
but we got Woodson on like a buy low or a sell low kind of deal, whatever that is with the Raiders. They thought he was washed. I mean, Woodson has like been very transparent about being like, they didn't want me, and that broke my heart. And I did not want to come to Green Bay, but they are a great organization. I wanted to give it a shot. So, I mean, we signed McKinney knowing he was going to be great, and he just absolutely is.
But he's beyond great.
Yeah.
What more could you ask from him?
Nothing. I actually mean that. I don't know if you could ask for anything more. Maybe have him wear the green dot so Edgerrin Cooper can play more instead of other guys. But
actually, I have something. If he could run back some of these interceptions.
True. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay. Am I asking for everything? Yes, but I said what more could I ask for? And that's the answer. Turn these into pick sixes, please.
That interception from Stafford was crazy because they tried him the play before. And he had like a pass breakup. So they must have found something, or they just didn't think that he actually would cover that much ground single high like that. But I'm never going to be upset that he doesn't get pick sixes. And I know you're not actually upset because the interceptions are incredible, but the amount of field he's covering and how he has to position his body to grab most of these interceptions is like truly, truly incredible stuff. I mean, that was like a 40-yard ball downfield, and he's just roaming the entire length of the field to grab it. It's incredible. I went to Lambeau in June and I snap bought his jersey. And there was a part of me that was like, man, he's not even a Packer yet. What if he stinks? And it's just like, I feel dumb. I feel dumb for ever thinking that, because it's just like he's too talented.
Yeah, but what a clutch move by you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I mean, you were 100% right.
Right. I bought a Jordan Love jersey before the contract got signed too. So I just wanted to get my 2 captains.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good job. Did well.
Thanks.
All right. It's time for Josh's Fanxiety moment of the week, which is looking at the rest of the NFC North. Don't like where the rest of these teams are, especially the Vikings. 5-0, and they did it. Didn't they not have Aaron Jones in that game? Didn't matter.
He was out with a hip injury. Yeah.
Defense has Rodgers throwing didn't he had 3 picks in the game in London, and they were playing in London. It's just it doesn't seem to matter. The Vikings are just finding ways to win. They have the tiebreaker against us right now. I mean, we still obviously have another game with them, but I don't like it.
No,
I don't like it at all. As the Packers are trying to figure things out, I already feel like, are we going to be playing for a wild card? I hate having that thought 5 weeks in. I don't like it.
Well, let's look at it this way.
Okay.
They're 5-0, which is undefeated, and I know that feels bad. They're only 2 games up on the Packers. Look at it that way. 5 games is so early in the season that there's plenty of time. Do I think they're going to come back? I don't know. I wish I did. I don't know. They are playing really, really good football.
It's
and
not luck. It's not luck, John. Like they are a scary ass team.
Yeah. We said that in the
we said that
I don't either. We said it in the Vikings preview. I don't know why we ever thought Sam Darnold was going to stink under Kevin O'Connell. He's the quarterback
because he's always stunk. Because Sam Darnold has never been good.
I know.
So we're going based off of Sam Darnold, not who his coach is.
Well, look at all the quarterbacks that Kevin O'Connell's coached to much success, not named Kirk Cousins. That's what I keep saying. We thought Sam Darnold was so bad to overcome incredible quarterback coaching, and the answer is it isn't. I'm at this point, I'm like, who's the worst quarterback in the league? Send him to the Vikings and let's see what happens. Because it truly could just be, Kevin O'Connell might actually be the litmus test for organizations around the league. Does your quarterback or does your coach claim to be a quarterback guru? Because if you can't make him work like Kevin O'Connell, then you should get fired and you should find somebody else, because the dude makes everybody look good. They were ravaged with injuries last year. We don't have to do the full rep run. I guess I'm just saying, like, I'm not surprised. I'm annoyed. I'm very annoyed.
Yes.
But it's just 2 games right now, and they're not going to go undefeated. So, and the Packers won't either. However, I like where we're at. It's harder for the Vikings to maintain the way they're playing than it'll be for the Packers to get where they think they should be. Because I don't think the team is performing at 100% right now. There's a lot of things that can still get worked on, and it's not like a limit. It's more about game planning and just getting Love back, because he was gone for the last couple,
Which I know that has to be the reminder is that, okay, yes, the Packers, Bears, and Lions all have 3 wins. Vikings have 5. And if you would have said, but through those 5 games, Jordan Love's going to miss 2 of them, I would have said, then that's not bad. If you would have told me that those 2 games, the Packers still won, though, I would have said, oh, well, then why aren't we 4-1? Why aren't we 5-0? Yeah. What happened? So the rust and all this other stuff, I still feel like this Packers team, like you said, is trying to figure things out. They're not there yet. And I just don't like that the rest of the NFC North is doing well enough as the Packers are trying to figure this out. It does not feel like it's going to be, a 1 or a 2 team race at all with this division. I do think the Bears are going to fall off. I don't think they're going to keep things going. They've played against some pretty crappy teams, but I mean, who the hell knows with the Lions? And I just don't want it to be to where we're halfway through the season and we're already like 3 or 4 games back of the Vikings because they haven't lost yet.
Yeah.
And I also haven't looked at their schedule to see like what they have upcoming, but the teams that they've beaten so far, I mean, beating the Texans 34-7 was nuts. And I know, some people that listen to this and watch this, our friend Brian, for example, came at me and said, look, the Packers almost caught the Vikings. Like, they should have won that game. XYZ things happen. Yeah, but I can't help but feeling that that's because the Vikings took their foot off the gas a little bit because they were up by so much. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm looking for something to stop them. They have a matchup against the Lions on the 20th. And then
it gets pretty easy after that.
The Rams, the Colts, the Jags, the Titans, the Bears. Woof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're next 4 or 5, they should win relatively easily.
Yeah.
Help me calm down about it, John.
I can't.
I'm not liking it.
I can't. And I think right now, as a Packers fan, all you can do is just keep focusing on what we're doing. It's not ideal that they're 5-0. Like I said, I don't think they're going to go undefeated, but there's enough meat on the bone that the Packers aren't capitalizing on that we just got to keep doing our thing. They're going to get a loss to us in Minnesota. I think this Lions game
so well in Minnesota.
Well, yeah, but I'm not. I don't know.
You're staying positive. Okay.
It's a new coach. He's a new quarterback. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's early. Like I said, if this was week 13 and we were 3 games back, I'd be getting a little more curious or concerned rather. I guess curious too. I'd be thinking about it. I try not to focus too much on standings watch this early in the season, just because there's so many games left. There's so much time left in the season.
Right.
Like, injuries happen at any time, and then obviously things get really different. I mean, Aaron Jones, there you go. I would never wish this on him, but he's already proving why he's got labeled as, not a durable running back,
Right, staying healthy.
Yeah. Healthiness has always been a concern. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. It's not great. I think there's a really good chance. I think the Lions beat them next week or when they play. I think the Lions will probably be the first legit test, because I think the Lions, I think right now they're a more put together football team than the Packers, and that's strictly based off of continuity probably. But
yeah,
we'll see. If they're looking at 5-1 and we're 4-2, that feels better, doesn't it?
True. Yes.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
Bueller.
Except for the fact that then the Lions would also be, I don't know. It's just,
yeah,
it
was always
a lot of competition, and based on how things ended last year, there was just so much. Okay, look out, because this team's going to be a problem. And it seems like out the gate, it was, we're limping. We're going to figure some stuff out. There's some changes. We're still going through, and just exactly it's all vibe checks, right? It's all, what's the vibe here? But the vibe I had at the end of last season is definitely not there right now. It is completely different. The confidence in this team is at they're working on it. They're going to figure it out standpoint, not this team is a problem for the rest of the NFL.
Yeah. Well, I would point to some specific metrics. I think the turnover differential for the defense is huge. You want to talk about Will Hafley's scheme work. It's producing in a way that Joe Barry's woefully lacked. So that's a positive to look at. The Packers still lead the league or are within the top 5 of explosive plays. So they're showing you that they have the ability to drive the ball downfield and are talented enough to do so. So like I said, I think it's a lot of, let's say Jordan Love back and in rhythm. I want to see offensive play calls looking like how we saw them when they were rolling over the Cowboys. I think there's still a limiter on him just to make sure that he's doing okay. And so, I don't love that we're 3-2 and the Vikings seem to be a wagon, like you said. However, it's just early enough in the season that I'm not willing to fully sink my teeth into how concerning that actually could be. So
that's fine.
Yeah. And speaking of the defense, any other things you want to touch on? Anything else you had thoughts about? Because I had a couple, but
go ahead.
Yeah,
shoot them.
Well, I think the Packers hit Stafford 10 times yesterday. They got 3 sacks. Edrin Cooper's first one. Congratulations to him.
Yep. Muzzle.
First of many, because I think he is an elite blitzer. Carl Brooks 1.5, and then Preston Smith with 0.5. I just still don't think we're seeing this pass rush eat the way they should. I think we were concerned weeks before, before the Titans game. We're like, well, they better figure it out. The Titans offensive line is just that terrible. So those
that was an illusion. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was. So I just think we need to start see them scheming them open, simulated pressures, twist stunts, whatever we need to do to start getting at more pressure on the quarterback, because a guy like Matthew Stafford is always going to get to his spots, even under pressure. And they need to be disrupting that flow a lot more. This is a full defensive conversation at large, but they're playing kind of soft under because their linebackers aren't very good. I think the way they're sharing snaps, and obviously Jair Alexander was out yesterday, so things were kind of interesting. It was interesting to me that Nixon was a boundary corner and they were rotating Carrington Valentine with Eric Stokes. I thought that was curious. But it just stinks to know that when Jair's back, they're probably just going to go back to running regular nickel because they were in big nickel a lot, especially in the second half. Evan Williams
which I feel like you asked for. You wanted that
100%, and I think he shows those natural instincts. I think he's actually a pretty good blitzer. I think that was something that was a highlight of his coming out of college. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go back to it, but I just think they got to find ways to get their more athletic downhill secondary just to challenge them. Because if we're going to play soft coverage and not get home, then we're basically right back where we were last year. So, but like I said, the turnovers are making that up for it in a big
mean
way.
McKinney's making it up.
Yeah. Xavier McKinney's making up for it.
One person specifically.
One person specifically is making up for it. But you know,
overall, a win is a win, and therefore it's a good win. We'll take it. We need them. Keep it going. Like that, we came away with a win. We got the Cardinals coming up next. Next time on Don't Tell Me How to Fan, we'll break that down, talk about that matchup, any concerns we have looking at the rest of the league, everything else. And yeah, that'll be it. That'll be it. Before we go, little non-sports thing. John, I need to point out that John decided to do the episode today after injuring himself. Look at that.
Yeah, I've been waving my hands around and realizing that nobody has any idea what's going on.
I was like, don't worry, we'll explain it.
Yeah, I had a bit of an unfortunate accident. I've been renovating my bathroom on my almost 100-year-old house here in Portland, Oregon. And me and my buddy were, no joke, within the last hour of being finished, we were installing some new subflooring, and he went left, I went right, and it resulted in me crushing my finger in between two pieces of plywood. So, I'm on the mend. I'm on the injury report for sure, but just because I'm listed as questionable doesn't mean I'm not going to show up. That's my solemn promise. So
I like it.
Yeah. So
well, thank you for finding time to still be able to do the podcast.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Even though you're battling this injury. And now where's the house at? Are you good now?
So yeah, we're down to the studs. Subflooring's in. Plumber's gonna install the tub tomorrow, and then drywall on Wednesday, a tile guy on Thursday, and we should be pretty much back in business in terms of running water and all that stuff, and just kind of getting our facilities back.
Okay.
So yeah, it's ever forward, just like the Packers. I'm looking on the bright side. Okay, there's a lot more to gain than lose here in the next couple weeks. So
I love it. By the time that you see the next episode of Don't Tell Me How to Fan, John's finger will be doing a little bit better. His house will be better. Hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better about this team and where they are in the standings. And we appreciate everyone continuing to watch, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Please continue to do so because we are not done yet.